Now, before we get into it, just a heads up. I am not a mental health professional. What I share here is based on personal experiences and opinions. If you are dealing with a serious mental health crisis, you need to speak to someone immediately. Reach out to a professional. They know exactly what to do to help you. The information and advice that I give are for general insights, not a substitute for personal help. Please understand that your choices are your own. Now, let's do this journey together and remember, it's all about personal growth. Now, let's get into today's episode. Welcome to another episode of Becoming a Butterfly podcast, the place where it's never too late to become your better self. I am your host, Christina Butterfly, also known as Chrissy O the Artist, and I'm so excited to be back here with you with another episode 6. Yes. Now, guys, let me say right off top that I hope you don't hear my son's playing music in the background, but he's creating another masterpiece, and I don't like to interrupt his work. So, to oh, no, that's not what I want. Here we go. Today's topic is about letting go of fear and taking flight. Where this is about literally strapping on your seatbelts, taking fear with you if you need to, growing and living a life that you always wanted to live. Fear might be a weight, but today we're turning into a wind beneath our wings. Get ready to fly higher than ever before. Let's get into it. As you know, we will have 5 steps to elevate into your best self, to beating fear and living your life's purpose. So let's get right into it, guys. And going into step one. Step one is understanding fear's purpose. We start by understanding fear, acknowledging its purpose as a signal, not a stop sign. Let's explore how to differentiate between rational caution and limited fear. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you from firsthand, not understanding that this fear is just a signal of you doing something new can really hold you back. I know it was one of the main things that held me back. Just such a fear of the unknown. There was a time in my life where I was content with being on Social Security to a certain extent. I knew that money was coming every month. I didn't have to worry about it. I didn't have to think about it. As long as I did what I was supposed to do, that money was going to show up. Every time you step out to do something different, that can shift everything. It could affect my income. It could affect, there's no guarantee that this business will work. It can start and then stop. It's all kinds of variables in it. But if I don't do something because I'm afraid, I can't look at myself in the mirror and face they fear when I won't even do it. So it really got to a point when I had to make a decision and say, you know what? I'm going to do this thing no matter what. And not knowing the unknown isn't my responsibility. My responsibility is to listen to that inner voice and do it anyway. Everything else, I need to learn to let God work it out. Step 2, try to get through these 5 steps as fast as we possibly can. You're not too fast, but we're definitely going to be on here less than an hour. Okay? So embrace fear as a catalyst. Fear can be a catalyst for growth. We'll discuss how to frame fear as an opportunity, a driven force propelling you towards your possibility. Listen, I love Lisa Nichols. If you don't know who Lisa Nichols is, she was one of the hosts on The Secret. And one of her sayings that I absolutely love is when she said, if you're afraid and you can't get rid of your fear, you need to strap that fear in the seat, put a seatbelt on it, and tell it to let's go. Do it anyway. Step out on that fear and do it anyway. The only thing you're afraid of honestly, is that you don't know what's about to happen. You don't know if it's going to be a success or if it's going to be a failure. Well, let me get one thing off your mind. Only thing that is a failure is you never trying it or quitting or giving up. That's the only thing that's a failure. We all have to learn how to detour and revamp things that we are doing. Nothing is never going to work out the exact way you have it set in your head. So the best thing for you to do is to strap fear in a seatbelt and take that homie with you. Okay? That is extremely important. Otherwise, you'll be stuck and paralyzed in your fear. Now let's go on to step 3. Tools for managing fear. Discovering practical tools to manage fear. Mindfulness techniques, breathing exercise, and mental strategy to navigate through fear's turbulence. It is extremely important for you to come up with a routine on what to do when you feel these fear coming on. One of the things is absolutely doing mindful exercises and grounding yourself. Sit there and name out what is reality, what is the truth. Excuse me, the chair that you're sitting on is the truth. The television that you might be watching is the truth. The floor underneath your feet is the truth. The anger, the fear, that you're feeling is based on a thought of what you think might happen, but it's not the reality of truth. So one of the techniques or the tools that you can use is doing what's called a grounding exercise. And it's literally sitting there with your eyes closed, and you take 3 deep breaths. And then when you open your eyes, you name things that you can see in your eyesight. That is being able to ground yourself so that you won't go off on the thoughts of the possibility, but nothing is a fact or guarantee. Okay. So if you really just struggle with saying doubt and saying that you can't accomplish something, or you're just too afraid to step outside yourself, you're so used to your comfort zone. First of all, if you're living in comfort, you are already outside your box, because you need to get comfortable. That's the only shift change in your life. So mindfulness techniques, breathing exercise, mental strategies do when you recognize that you're afraid. I get nervous and a little bit of fearful every time I go sit here to turn on this camera. Sometimes it can take me a little to actually get start, just to get the jitters out. What I refuse to do is not do it at all. I have to get it together, shake it out, sit in front of this camera, prepare myself, turn it on, and if I gotta do some silly shit in front of it before I can get it done, then that's what I'm gonna do. But I am going to do it. I am going to record these videos. I am going to step out of fear. And if that means I got to take fear with me, then guess what? Fear, here we come. Shaking and all, trembling and all, here we come. All right? Go on this fasting. And the truth of the matter is that I made this decision because at 44, I wasn't trying to go through another 30 years of being in excruciating pain. It was not happening, and the pain was getting worse. So I had to make a decision. I had to decide, am I going to continue to live my life this way, or am I going to make a change? So I decided to start fasting, and I was terrified. The thought of not eating, the hunger pains, the detox pains, all the things that you go through doing fasting. Yes, you get through a period where it's just a lightning period and you have all these energies and you seem and you think so unbelievably clear. But before you get to that point, it's like hell. And it's true detoxing, especially if you was a heavy sugar addict, eating a lot of breads, drinking a lot of sodas. And that was me. I had to really understand that I needed to build some resilience. So I started doing a 24-hour fast, then ate something, then did a 48-hour fast, then ate something, choose to eat something healthy, but I ate 72-hour fast. And that 72-hour fast went so good that I was fasting for 132 hours altogether. It was absolutely amazing. If I didn't have built up that resilience, being able to fast for that 132 hours would have been ultimately impossible. But I had to build up resilience. And now, come January, I can prepare myself to do a full stretch 14-day fast to really change my cells, to change my figure, my weight. Lord knows the main contributor to all the pain was the weight. So in order for me to do that, I had to build up some resilience. I had to build up a tolerance. I had to prepare myself for any setbacks that can happen. There were setbacks. I initially didn't plan to fast for 24 hours. I set the intention to fast for 3 days, but it didn't work that way. It would have made it a failure if I wouldn't have ate something and just and kept eating and go right back to the same habits. No, I nourished myself with what I needed to do. I nourished myself with enough food that I needed, with the right food. I didn't eat anything else that day, and I went on to the next day and did another 2-day fast. Like, this is the process of it. This is what needs to be done. And by the time this video upload, I would have already have done my 14-day fast. I'm proud of myself for knowing. I already know that I did it. Straight 14 days. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm going to stand on that. So always understand that building resilience is the key of being able to get through fear, to be able to take fear with you. Already plan for setbacks so when it happens, it don't shake your world. I can get so caught up in bliss of everything just going so smoothly that when a setback happens, I really got to regroup. You feel what I'm saying? What I don't want to do is have to take an extreme long time to regroup because I have it set in my head that it's going to be smooth sailing here. Okay? Setbacks is a part of the get back. Without a setback, you can't get back. All right. So make sure you understand that you want to learn from your setbacks and adapt and face a fear. Be terrified. Let your knees shake. Move forward anyway, even in your fear. And you'll find quicker than you realize that you really didn't have anything to be afraid of whatsoever. Sometimes we get so stuck in our head and believe that it's going to be this way. It can eat you up. I really wanted to move to Alabama by January. And I know that that's not possible. It's just not set up that way right now. Things would have worked out. It would have been wonderful. But it's not. So I can't sit and cry about what's not happening. I got to move anyway because I feel like God has me set in this season. He wanted to make sure that I was going to be committed to what I say I'm going to do before he allowed me to move to my next season in life. I got to finish this chapter before I move to the next. You understand me? And that might take another 6 months. But that's not up to me. It's up to God. What's up to me is to be obedient. And when the opportunity presents itself, and I will definitely know when the opportunity will present itself, then when I will know and understand that this will be my time and my next season is ready to start. That place is waiting for me. It ain't going nowhere. So I need to be patient, listen to your inner voice, to God, to your Ori, whatever you want to call it. I call it my Ori connected to God. Okay? So let's make sure we keep that in mind, guys. We are flight and actionable steps. Listen, we have a terrible habit of trying to work things out in our head. Put fear on you. It's not on you. It's supposed to be on your passenger side. You got to strap to your back. Okay? You got that fear strapped to your back, whispering in your ear, telling you all day what you can't do. When you start making these plans, you need to start taking action. And I'm a witness. When you start moving before you're ready, you will be surprised what will happen. I am more prepared to create podcasts. I am more prepared to create content than I ever have in my life. And it's not because I'm the greatest at it, because I am absolutely not. But starting my podcast before I got ready helped me push myself to get ready to live my purposeful life. So when it got time for me to sit down and batch content podcasts, it doesn't feel like a chore. It doesn't feel like, oh my goodness, it's sucking up my entire day. It doesn't feel that way. In fact, I'm quite excited to do this. I'm quite excited to sit down and prepare myself to do this podcast, to know that I'm going to create these episodes. I'm going to edit these episodes. I'm going to launch these episodes, and I'm keep doing it. And then one day I'll get to the point where I'll be able to knock off 20 episodes in 1 month. So I can be able to focus on other things within the show. But I got to take it one step at a time. Creating actionable steps gets me closer and closer and closer to the finish line. It gets me closer there. It shows me that all I got to do is take a step. Listen, guys, I didn't take a step for a very long time. I had all these thoughts in my head. I had all these goals. I had all these visions. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew where I wanted to go. But I couldn't figure out a way to get started. And day after day, month after month, hell, year after year, just kept going by. And I'm dealing with the same stuff. Then I get to the point where it's like, Chrissy, you can't blame nobody. Like, you know how many episodes you could have done by now? By this time, you could have been doing this thing for a whole year straight and would have been seeing some results. But you're just sitting here wishing what you could instead of just doing it. Was so crazy. I say it so many times. Once I set the intention, it blows my mind how God provided. The money just appeared. But all I had to do was be willing and determined to step out on faith and do what that inner thought been telling me to do. I know one day I'll be able to walk into Social Security and say, cut my check, I'm good. I will. I know I'll be able to be in a position to pay for my own health care, to be in a position to be able to pay for my home, to buy my house from content creation. I know I will be. And I stand on it because I believe in it. With all of my heart and soul, I believe in it. Listen, guys, this journey isn't easy at all. It is difficult. So difficult to truly live your dream when nothing around you showing you that is evidence that this is going to make it, right? But the truth is that you got to do it anyway. You got to do it anyway, even in your fear, because that dream isn't for nothing. That feeling that you feel inside your bones isn't for nothing. You may have to remember to like, subscribe. Please, I need you to subscribe. I need you to kick that like fooling with a girl and that you messing with a girl. You like me showing up here every week, lifting, encouraging you, and giving you some actionable steps that you can to change your life. Please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon if you want to make sure you are notified when I upload my videos. You want to be the first to know that I upload, make sure you have that bell icon on. And guys, you know what I say at the end of all of my videos, I want to hear from you. So make sure that you write me at becomingabutterflypod@gmail.com. If you want to ask me a question and want some advice, just want to tell me your butterfly story. If you just want us to communicate, it doesn't matter. I want to hear from you. Reach out and touch. And I will make sure that I will read your letter every Thursday. New videos at 7 p.m. And yes, I have a you. Nothing, and I do mean nothing is happening to you, but everything is happening for you. So whatever it is you're going through, don't hold on to it. Just know that it will get whatever going on is for your great. All right, guys. So, wow. This real quick, was not expecting it, but it's also late. I'm also doing this late at night, and this is what we're doing. All right, guys, I love you so much, and I will see you right back here next week for Becoming a Butterfly podcast with your girl, Christina Butterfly. All right, guys, love you.
Z Notes Master Beats.